All right, we're talking Detroit City FC. This past weekend, 3-1 winners at home Keyworth Stadium to visiting Oakland Roots. Good to see Detroit City continue their winning ways. A very much needed 3 points in my opinion, but what's really nice is to hear that it's entertaining football. There's entertaining soccer being played out there. It's not just 1-0 wins or draws. Brooks, I don't know about you, man, but I'm super happy that, one, Detroit City FC is an alumni here, that they're winning, but they're also playing good football, man.
Yes.
How was it? How was the crowd? Was it cold?
Yeah, it was a bit cold. I mean, the sun was out a little bit, but then, the clouds came and it was a little bit of wind, but not crazy. It was a good crowd. I think obviously as the weather gets a little warmer, and it was a 4:00 game too, so it wasn't bad. But good atmosphere as always. Can't complain. Very good game though. I think it's a little bit of a transition from Trevor James as playing a 3-back and more off the ball movement, maybe a little more direct, but a lot of off the ball movement to get him behind, and then kind of play more in the final third. That was kind of what Trevor liked to do, compared to Danny Dichio, who is really, I wouldn't say they build like Barcelona, but they'll swing the ball a little more. They'll play through the middle a little bit more, more combination play. But I think that's been honestly with the acquisitions they've had. For me, I think James Murphy has been a phenomenal acquisition for them. Just his IQ, understanding of where and when to combine, just doing the work off the ball to get in those spots to combine and to create space. He's been phenomenal for them. Diop has been phenomenal again for them as well as a defensive midfielder. Maxi Rodriguez has done well at the 10 for them.
That's a bit of a surprise for me, seeing him pushed a little bit more forward.
Yeah.
Last year he was almost playing as that defensive midfielder, a 6, as they say, right?
Yeah.
That's where he was. He was more back there, controlling, kind of being a little, I don't want to say dirty, but messing up the game at times when the other team had the ball in transition. Now he's playing higher up the field, and he's scoring goals. He always scores goals. It's just what he does. But playing higher up the field, that's good to see. He must be enjoying that probably.
Yeah, I think he is. He's definitely enjoying that, and he drops deep at sometimes to get to find the game. But he has been someone they can rely on to get to find the feet of, and then to turn into play someone in behind. But I mean, listen, when you have a solid goalkeeper like Nate Steinwasser and the back line is solid as ever. Honestly, Brett Levis has really. He came in last year and played, but he's been phenomenal this year. I mean, he had some great runs forward and combining to go forward with the midfielders. Obviously, Michael Bryant, consistent.
Mr. Consistent, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, talking about a guy they got from like a Nisa club, and when they moved from Nisa to the USL Championship, I mean, it was a great find for them. And what he's been, Mr. Utility, I call him, because he can play defensive mid, he can play center back, he's been playing right back or right wing back.
Yep.
But good. Ben Morris, a good one, could go off a turnover to open up for DCFC. And then a penalty in the box that set up a Maxi Rodriguez PK in the first half. And then the second half, Victor Becerra, their guy on loan from Chicago Fire 2, played at the University of Indiana for 2 years, or 3 years maybe. And Victor with the very clinical goal at the beginning of the second half. To give the DCFC a 3-0 lead. Justin Rasmussen for Oakland Roots finds the ball on the opposite side of the goal off across to slot it in to make it 3-1. Unfortunately, a second yellow gets given to the center back on Oakland Roots to put them down to 10 men. And at that point, it was probably like 15, 20 minutes left in the game. There's no way they're coming back.
Game over. Game, set, and match. Danny Dichio's got this team going in the right direction, playing good football. Was there some good food trucks out there yesterday as well?
There were some good food trucks out there yesterday.
Get to Keyworth first, my friends. Listen, they're not going to pull a Bayer Leverkusen. All right, it's just not going to happen in the USL Championship. But this is a great start. I mean, this is a good start. They're 4-0 in the league now, but they've won 5 overall, 5 in a row, right? Including the U.S. Open Cup game against the Michigan Stars. Pretty good game there as well, by the way, by the Stars. When do you expect a little bump in the road? Because there's always a bump in the road. It's a long season.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I thought maybe the Oakland Roots team would give them a little more of a game, but they had some injuries, some cards. They brought a lot of their young academy players. It seemed like it was weird. It was almost like a throwaway game for the Roots for some reason. They construct their team in a very interesting way. I don't always agree with how they construct their team, but that's how they run the organization. That's how they run it. Some interesting matches coming up for DCFC. I mean, they're going to play on the road at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's a tough one. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds, as we know, one of the best teams in USL Championship last year. Detroit knocked them off in the first round of the playoffs, so right?
They
the
did.
8 seed beating the 1 seed.
They did. It's weird though. Pittsburgh sitting in 10th, with only 5 points. 1 win, two draws, and 4 losses. That's not our 1 win, 2 draws. And
not very Pittsburgh-esque.
Yeah, correct. It's not very Pittsburgh-esque. So they go to Pittsburgh on the April 27th.
Yep.
Loudoun United. So they've changed a little bit, and Loudoun sits in 7th place right now with 2 wins, 1 draw, and 3 losses. 6 matches played. Loudoun disconnected from DC United as their second team, so now they have more free flow to add different players in. And
interesting. Okay.
They've changed a little bit there.
Okay.
So yes, that'll be a tough one. And then on it's either 7th or 8th. Let's see, May 7th at 8 p.m. The Detroit City goes and travels to play Houston Dynamo in the Open Cup.
That's right. Yeah, one of the only MLS teams in there, right?
Yes.
8
of them.
8 MLS teams, so not many entering. And Detroit City has to. It's unfortunate that Detroit City has to travel to Houston instead of Houston traveling to beautiful, balmy Hamtramck in Keyworth Stadium. But I'm sure the players will enjoy it nonetheless, playing in that great stadium.
Yes, I think Pittsburgh's always a tough game. I think they'll be challenged in that one. But if Pittsburgh's on a slump right now, I think DCFC can get a road win on there. Loudoun will be a tough one. It won't be a big crowd at Loudoun. They don't draw huge crowds there, but I think DCFC can come away with the one there. Let's just talk about league games. I think the next tough one they are going to play is May 11th. They host Phoenix Rising, who's always been on the top of the Western Conference. Currently, though, Phoenix sits in 7th place with 2 wins, 1 draw, and 4 losses in the Western Conference. Sacramento Republic at the top right now. But I think that'll be a tough one at home. And then 29th, they have to go to Louisville City.
Oh, that'll be a tough one.
Yes,
for sure.
So those are tough few games.
There's never ever easy games in the USL Championship, right? It's a lot like the EFL Championship in England. It's a slog, man.
It's like MLS too. There's a lot of parity. It varies from year to year how well teams do, and depending on how much turnover is, or if they change the way they go younger instead of more veteran players. But Louisville's got a good mixture of players as they've kind of turned over some guys that have been there for a very long time. But that Houston Dynamo match, let's kind of talk about the Open Cup match, will be very interesting. I am curious to see how many first-team guys Houston will play and how many second-team guys they will, because Houston Dynamo have always taken the Open Cup very seriously. They're a team that likes to play in the tournament.
The winners last year, right?
Yes.
The holders.
They have won it last year and in years before. Pat Onstedt, the GM there, wants to win. They want to get back in CONCACAF Champions Cup, and that is a way for them to do that.
Yep.
Obviously, a Michigan native, Steve Clark, in goal for them. So I don't know if Steve is going to play. I imagine the backup will play, but it'll be interesting. And Houston rolling in the MLS. But that'll be a good challenge for them if they can get a little cup set against Houston. That'd be interesting. And then because in their bracket, there's 1 MLS club and 3 other USL Championship clubs. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But GCFC rolling, the team looking to play a little more soccer this year. And I think it's only going to get better, and especially as Victor Becerra gets more integrated with this team. When he came over, he had a bit of an injury issue to start. But him getting in that lineup and scoring and looking good will be very interesting for DCFC.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to it. We'll do a lot more Detroit City updates as the games come, as they roll along. All right. Thanks, Brooks. Appreciate it, buddy.
Welcome.